I bought 3 Broken Atari Lynx Handhelds. This one I only paid $80 for, this one I paid $80 for, and this one comes with a case and several games. Now, up until about a year ago, I didn't even know these things existed. I've certainly never taken them apart before, so let's get into them and see if we can fix them. And just looking at them, I think this one is probably in the worst condition. I might end up just using this one for parts since it is missing the faceplate and the battery cover back here. This one's got some gunk right here, which makes me feel like maybe we've got some liquid damage. I hope not, but that's kind of what it looks like. This one looks to be in the best condition. So let's start with this one. I'm gonna pop some batteries in and see what we have. Now, I didn't realize this when I bought these, but the Atari Lynx actually goes for a lot of money. This one was $285. That includes some games in the power cable and case. The bag itself goes for $72, at least this one did. We got a battery cover for $23. This one went for $200, this one $231. So these are actually worth quite a bit of money. This one that I only paid $80 for, I actually have pretty high hopes for. And if we can get it working, could actually make some good money on this one. So this one I bought on eBay. No idea what's wrong with it, but let's get some batteries in and see if we can see anything at all going on. Okay, there we go. And from what I can tell, this is the power button. Definitely nothing. We get no power at all on this one. So let's get it apart and see if we can figure out why. So we've got, oh, we got a missing screw. That's never good. That means somebody's probably been into this thing and hopefully didn't mess anything up. Okay, first time inside one of these. Nothing connected to the back plate. That's always nice. Yeah, that's been pried on right there. Okay, and we have the board already. Okay, we're connected to something down here. Oh, smells so bad. I think this was in the house of someone who smoked a lot. That's unfortunate, but hopefully that's cleanable. Okay, I feel like there's got to be an easy way to get those ribbon cables off, and I don't see any way. Well, maybe, yeah, okay, if we take this screw out, then I think maybe we can get to them. Does that come out now? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this comes out next. There we go. Now we can get to the ribbon cables. Okay, now we can flip the board over, and I don't immediately actually see any problems. Don't see the capacitors bulged out or anything. Oh, here we go. We can remove the screen connector and speaker connector, and we have the whole board free. So we've got this metal plate that goes over a lot of the board. I feel like we'll probably have to take that off. The battery connectors look good, so I don't see any problem there. Yep, so I think the next thing to do is take this plate off so we can inspect the board further, and then after that we can get to doing some testing. To do that, I'm going to use some solder wick, and I'll just put some flux on these little points right here, put my solder wick over it, bring my hot iron over, and suck up the solder onto the wick. And after getting that metal cover off, I don't see any obvious problems on this board. Nothing blown, nothing burned, nothing cracked, nothing even looks suspicious at all. So I think what we need to do next is use my benchtop power supply and put 9 volts in over at the battery connector, and then we'll see if the power's on after that. All right, I got the red cable connected to the plus battery post. Now we'll connect the negative to the minus. We can get it to stay there. There we go. All right, now flip it over. Yep, just nothing at all.
A few moments later.
And I just realized you have to have a game in it first before it'll power on. I feel like an idiot. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back together enough to test with a game in it, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna test it with batteries. The game is actually installed. Now let's see what happens when we try to power it on. Oh, orange light. Backlight is working. Oh, we actually get a little bit of a picture. And sound? What? A or B to start? This is actually... I don't see anything wrong with this. I mean, kind of a... Oh, turning! Kind of a boring game. I don't know what just happened. Fuel level critical. I think I ran out of fuel. Okay, that works. The sound works. The brightness works. I don't actually see anything wrong with this one other than the missing faceplate. So this first one, I feel like somebody might have tried to test this but didn't have a game, and so they just sold it for parts on eBay. But as far as I can tell, this thing is fully working. I'm gonna test it a little more off camera and we'll come back to it if we need to, but so far this one's working good. Let's move on to this one, the Atari Lynx 1. Okay, and this one, looking at it, it looks like at some point we had some battery leakage issues. I don't know what's gonna happen when we open this up. Oh, actually, somebody must have cleaned it, actually. That's not too bad. Let's put some batteries in this thing and see what happens. Is there a battery stuck in this? I think there's a battery stuck back there. Well, that's the first problem we need to fix. All right. Okay, and with this off, it's like stuck right there. See if we can get this battery unstuck. There we go. Okay. Duracell. Oh, this is cool. Let's see how we're doing. Press. I think we have basically nothing in this one. Okay, so I think the battery contacts have been replaced. These wires have definitely been replaced. I don't actually really see any damage on the board. The capacitors look okay. Oh, do we got... I feel like maybe this speaker is replaced. This wire looks like maybe this is not factory wire. I don't know for sure though. All right, let's get this thing back together enough to put some batteries in and test it. Okay, there's that. Well, let's put the game in. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, there we go. Okay. On. Nothing. Okay. So we get no power at all. So let's get this thing back apart and see if we can figure out what's going on. Now we could have a dirty game connector. We learned from the last ones that these things have to have a game in it in order for it to work. Also, looking down here, we've got some work down here. Did somebody replace the capacitors in this? So that capacitor has new solder on it. These resistors do. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I feel like we're gonna need to take this apart so we can have a look at the other side. There's a little blob of solder there. So I'm gonna get this apart the rest of the way so we can check out the other side and see if there's anything going on under there that we need to fix. Yeah, those soldering points were redone there. Overall, I don't see anything too crazy going on here. Okay, so I got the batteries back in. Let's see if the board is getting power. And it is. So that means that all of this seems to be working correctly as long as these wires are hooked up to the right spots. As far as I can tell they are. Let's just do a check here. Yep, so all of that looks fine. So the next thing is, let's get a game in here. We could have a dirty connector here. It doesn't look too bad, but it is possible. I think we almost had something. Heard like a pop. Okay. Let's see if it happens again. Yeah, we almost have something. I can hear the speaker when I plug the game in and out. So we almost get something, but not quite. So since I don't really see anything immediately wrong, I'm going to remove these solder points so I can remove the shield on the back. Then we'll have a look under there and see if anything's going on under there. And just looking quickly, I don't see anything wrong down there either. No corrosion, no bulging capacitors. Ooh, is that a crack in that capacitor? Nope. Just a dirty spot. Okay, so no problems there. All right, so far this all looks good as well, which is nice to see, but also I am not seeing anything wrong with this board, so we're gonna have to bust out the multimeter and start seeing if we can figure out what's going on here, because so far I can see that there was damage at some point, but so far everything is looking just fine. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do with this is replace the common items that fail on these. That would be this guy, these two guys, this guy, and this guy right here. So I'm gonna use my hot air soldering station to heat up each of these components until the solder melts, and then we'll place the new component and then let the solder solidify. This Zener diode right here is a through-hole component, so I'll come through and do that with my soldering iron after I've placed the other components. Okay, we got those guys all replaced. I actually just replaced the Zener diode with my hot air. Since I was there, the board was warm. It just worked really well to just push that through the holes. Now I'm just gonna solder the battery back on, but I did notice this capacitor over here is leaking. We got some green gunk down on the board, so I will replace that after I get the speaker replaced, or the speaker installed. I just removed this speaker so it was easier to do that soldering. Yep, it's all green right there from where it was leaking. So looking at this capacitor, it was actually damaged. There's a big crease right here. I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but it's got a big area where it was rubbing against something right there. So this capacitor is definitely in bad shape, so I'm glad we got that replaced. We got the legs trimmed off with the capacitor and the Zener diode. So I think now it's time to try and power it on again. Now, as I was looking where I soldered this new capacitor on, I noticed that this part that I scraped away the corrosion down here, it actually made it so the negative leg of the capacitor wasn't connected to this negative plane right over here, the ground plane. So what I did is just connected a wire from the ground leg over to the ground plane, and that makes it so the ground plane from the bottom side is connected to the ground plane from the top side. Now that we have these common power components replaced that commonly go bad, let's turn it over and see if it will power on. We've got the batteries installed and a game is in the system. Okay, here we go. Power on. Oh, yeah! Okay, let's check brightness. If I can find the brightness wheel, there we go. Okay, insert game. So brightness totally works. It turns on, but we got to figure out this insert game thing because the game is already inserted. But the great news is that we at least have it powering on now. And let's actually pull the game out and back in. There we go. Now let's just try it again. See if that does it. Oh, here we go. Hey, look at that. There we go. The game works, the speaker works, and it looks like it starts up just fine. Yep, controls work. All right. So I think this one we can consider all fixed. The case, unfortunately, is not in the best shape, but it definitely is all fixed and working. Let's move on to number 3 and see if we can fix the third one. Okay, and batteries are in. This one comes with a battery cover. This one's really nice. This is the one I got for 80 bucks. Totally worth it. How does this go on? There we go. Okay, game is installed. Let's see what happens when we press the power button. Hey, we get a screen. That's good. Brightness. See if I can. Okay. Does this one work too? Catch. I missed whatever that was. I think I was supposed to catch that. I know my fuel's low. What am I supposed to do about it though? I don't know how to refuel. Fuel empty. Press A or B or continue. Okay. Let's try this again. $204 miles an hour. I don't think I was supposed to do. Okay. I missed it. Was that my fuel? I don't know if that was my fuel or not. Passed some car there. Passed another car. Passed another car. Oh, frick. So do I get... Oh, I get fuel at checkpoints. Okay. Oh, I didn't even hit that guy. Come on. Okay, speed it up. Let's go. Top speed, 204. Extra fuel awarded. That's what I'm talking about. Ah, come on. Is that somebody? Is that like people shooting at me? Oh, heck yeah. Score 1,800. Veteran bonus 50,000. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, but why did this come in as not working? Okay, let's try a different game. Lynx, NFL football. Okay, there we go. Power on. Oh. So the screen's kind of just like blipping. Okay. So maybe that's the problem. Oh, here we go. Okay. So I feel like maybe we have a problem with the card reader on this one, the game reader. Yeah, and this one's just frozen. Okay, so let's get this thing apart and check out that game slot. But other than that, that might be the only problem here. So what I'm going to do is use some very high grit sandpaper. I don't want to sand off the finish. I just want to get any gunk off of these pins. And now I'm going to use some deoxit. And I'm going to put that down here on these pins. And I'm going to come in with a game, since there's not a lot of things we can really get in there. Actually, it looks like one of these pins is a little bit bent down more than the rest. So I'm going to bend that pin up. That's better. Okay, I think that's better. Now I'm going to come in with this game card and push this in and out several times. Okay, I'm going to saturate this cotton swab with isopropyl alcohol and just cover these pins with it. And then in and out some more. My goal here is to get these pins nice and clean. And we'll clean them off, then saturate them with IPA again, and back in. Okay, so the football game, this is the game that wouldn't play before. Just kind of got stuck. Well, let's see how it does now. Let's get there we go. Get the brightness dialed in. Okay. There we go. Okay, that one's working. Lynx Electro Cup. And Electro Cup, licensed to Atari. Okay, Electro Cup is working. Chips Challenge. Chips Challenge. Okay, here we go. Chips Challenge is working. Okay. And the last game we have to try is Road Blasters. Here we go. And Road Blasters is working fine as well. So Atari Lynx number 3 is also working, so we are able to fix all 3 Atari Lynxes. Granted, 2 were pretty easy fixes, but they're fixes nonetheless. If you like this type of video, you might like the video where I tried to fix a rare Sega Dreamcast. I'll put a link for that video right up on your screen now, so you can come hang out with me over there and see if I can fix it. Thanks so much for watching today, and I hope you have a good one.